Hello, my name is Diane Spencer. I am a stand-up comedian.
I don't think any lady has a cunt unless she married it.
An actor.
No, you know, bloody mess, down there.
And a contributor on the GB News programme Headliners. It's a press preview show where comedians discuss the newspapers coming up the next day. And we often don't have enough time to linger on the stories we really like. So here's a deep dive into one of my recent favourites. This article is from The Times and it's about how fish will be farmed at the Fukushima 1 nuclear power station to prove that the water is safe. If the fish leap out of the water screaming, I'd say not yet.
This is a strange one from Saturday's Times. Sajila, would you eat Fukushima fish?
So Fukushima fish to be farmed to prove water is safe. I'm telling you, this sounds vile. I'm not eating anything. So what it is that Fukushima fish
Do you mind not swearing? It's a family show.
Am I not saying it right?
Hey, you are, you're fine. Fukushima.
You just said that
Fukushima.
Fukushima fish. It's like,
Fukushima.
well, it might not be your cup of tea.
Some people have trouble pronouncing names that are foreign to them. In English, the PH makes an F sound. So you can imagine my mother's surprise when she went into a travel agent's and they offered her a brochure to fuck it.
They're trying to make the safety of water so that the fish can be treated for radioactivity. Oh, there's a photo of the fish. But anything that's been near, we all know that radioactive stuff is not safe. And so they're trying to get rid of the radioactive stuff from the fish so the fish is safe to eat.
Yeah, it's put me right off my dinner, I've got to be honest with you, Diane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are some fish that have a natural bioluminescence. I just don't think it should be when they're dead on the counter. Like, that's not when the fish should be glowing, really.
No way.
Some background to this. In 2011, there was the Great East Japan earthquake, which measured 9 on the Richter scale. It created a 15-metre high tsunami that damaged the Fukushima 1 nuclear power plant. It disabled the cooling systems, and 3 of the 4 cores melted like ice cream on a grill. Since then, water has been used to cool and stabilise the cores, but it gets heavily irradiated in the process. If you had a water cannon powered with this stuff, it would literally be classed as a nuclear deterrent. The plant generates up to 140 tonnes of contaminated water a day, which is all mostly stored on site in tanks. Unfortunately though, some of this tainted water has been leaking into the sea, and this gained media attention in 2013. According to Thomas B. Cochrane, PhD, it is well known that fish concentrate certain radioactive elements in their flesh and bone. It explains why my skin feels so radiant after eating sushi. It also explains the extra moles. I thought I was just a messy eater. Let's assume we are very risk averse. I like that assumption, Dr. Cochrane. Do continue. And we want to maintain the risk of getting cancer from eating contaminated fish to less than 1 in 100,000. The odds of being struck by lightning are 1 in 500,000 and I still won't play golf outside. Actually, I won't play golf unless cocktails are involved and the holes have little windmills, maybe octopuses and ramps. To keep your risk down, you would have to limit your consumption to 0.7 kilograms of fish meat. Now there's 6.4 grams of meat in a chicken nugget because obviously there's meat, there's bread, there's sofa stuffing. So that would equate to about 110 Fukushima fish nuggets. Surely that's an eating challenge. Hey guys, today we're going to eat 110 Fukushima fish nuggets in 10 minutes, wash it down with a potassium iodide milkshake. One of the radioisotopes of concern is cesium, named after the popular dog food. Pacific bluefin tuna caught off the coast of California had 10 times the expected level of cesium within them because they had been in the waters around Fukushima before migrating across the Pacific Ocean. However, the levels of radioactivity were actually low relative to the natural levels of radioactive polonium and potassium already found in fish. There is no need to spit out your tuna mayo bagel yet. The additional dose of radiation from Fukushima isotopes in the average consumer of bluefin tuna would be the equivalent of eating 9 bananas. If you've eaten 9 bananas, you've already got problems. You don't need to worry about radioactivity. You probably need access to a toilet pretty quickly. Let's remember that there is lots of background radiation around us all the time. Humans emit infrared radiation, which is why police can pick you up on their scanners with the helicopter and why you can only hide from a predator in cold mud. TEPCO, the Tokyo Electric Power Company that operates the plant, is running out of room to store the contaminated water. TEPCO want to release the stored water into the Pacific Ocean after treating it, much like a studio would release a celebrity after putting them through rehab. Understandably, there has been some backlash from local residents and fishing industry experts. Just because Johnny Depp himself is cocaine-free, it doesn't mean that there aren't particles of cocaine still on his bank card. In January 2022, black rockfish caught off the coast of Fukushima were discovered to have 14 times the level of radiation permitted by Japanese law, so the sale of that fish was suspended unless it was deep fried in lead first. According to the Times, the locals and fishing industry representatives want TEPCO to farm the fish to prove the safety of the water, rather than issuing complex data on radiation levels. Look, I'm not here to learn about science. I'm here to eat fish fingers. Can I eat the fish fingers or not? So the Tokyo Electric Power Company have risen to the challenge and are going to farm 600 abalones and 600 flatfish to prove that their treated water is safe. This is literally the Simpsons scenario where Marge feeds Blinky the three-eyed fish to Mr. Burns. I have a slight issue with this because you won't have the effect of eating fish that contains too many radioisotopes straight away. It's an effect that might happen later on down the line. What do they think is going to happen when they eat this fish? What they think suddenly like, oh, you got an extra mole. Whoever eats it will suddenly turn green and Hulk out. No, I feel fine. I feel absolutely fine. The TEPCO employees will now have a lovely little aquarium to look after. This is Japan where people like to eat raw fish. I mean, what if somebody turns up for work and they've forgotten their lunch? The fish will be farmed in tanks filled with seawater and tanks filled with the treated water. I mean, which would you eat? Treated water has at least been treated. Seawater, as far as I can tell, is full of microplastics, raw sewage, human hormones, bros on skidoos. I think the main difference will be that the fish farmed in the treated water won't come out with old band-aids on their faces and their necks wrapped in plastic bags. What TEPCO have not announced yet is what delicacy they will be creating and who gets to try it. I personally think they should hold a press conference and invite all the journalists they can, and the chairman of TEPCO, Yoshimitsu Kobayashi, should be there too, and he can eat it just like Mr. Burns, but try not to choke or spit it out. That would be the worst thing, because fish bones as well. And then everyone will go, oh, they choked because of the radioactive blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, it's not, it's the fish bone, the fish is lovely. As for the dish, personally, being an English person, I'd say batter it. Chop it up, put it in a bit of batter, deep fry it in breadcrumb. Lovely. Vinegar, chips. No one's going to care. If it all goes well and they prove the water is safe, they will start releasing the water into the Pacific Ocean in 2023. TEPCO have been building a tunnel specifically for this, which goes half a mile out into the ocean. Some officials have expressed concern that they may not be able to release the water so soon and so close to those giant ancient sea eggs. Thank you so much for watching my video. You can catch all previous episodes of Headliners on the GB News channel on YouTube. Or if you would like to just watch the episodes featuring yours truly, then I have created a playlist. Thank you to everyone who donates to me on PayPal, and thank you for following me on my social media. Please hit like if you enjoyed this video and hit subscribe. Until next time, bye! Particles, radionuclides, radionuclides. Nuclides? Fukushima radionuclides? I can pronounce the Japanese name, I can't pronounce the English word. Radionuclides. TEPCO has chosen to farm abalones and flatfish, which are two of the most valuable... I'm sorry, you must have heard my stomach. Is it all this talk about fish? Shush! Tesco? It's not Tesco. It's definitely not Tesco. You know what? If you enjoy that sort of thing, you go fish.